Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. I'm really glad you're here with me today for September the 28th. So we're again going to do the What's in Store for Trump this week reading. So that is covering us from, roughly September 27th through October 3rd. I mean, it's not rigid, as you well know. So that's what we're going to do today. Before I start, thank you very, very much to all of my subscribers, new and established. I'm pretty sure by the time you see this, I will have passed the 7,500 subscriber mark. So I'm very grateful and very appreciative of that. And in fact, the Soulprint Insights channel is also doing really well. So I thank you for that. There's just a lot going on right now. And so it's really important that we all do everything we can to just sort of stay focused on the positive and work towards creating an environment that is just a little bit calmer, and so that we're not inclined to sort of surrender to our fears and anxieties. So let's get started, shall we? So what do we think is going to be in store for Trump this week? Now, the other thing I want to share with you. So I had this really interesting thought the other day, and it was about this Supreme Court pick and, getting her on the bench and getting that done fast. Because, again, Trump could care less. Like, he just doesn't care, right? So this is Mitch McConnell's legacy. This is what Mitch has spent decades moving towards. This idea of this is the legacy I am going to create for myself, and that legacy is going to be one of the most conservative Supreme Court benches, like in the history, I'm sure, of your country. It is about 20 or 25 or maybe even 30% of really strong conservatives who, frankly, are kind of like pushing their beliefs onto the other 70 or 75% of the country. But this is his legacy. This is what he wants. And as we have seen in 4 years, he will take, absorb, humiliate himself, whatever it is, when it comes to Trump, in order to accomplish that goal. So the question is this: if that's accomplished, does Mitch McConnell still need Trump to be in the presidency? Because I'm sure Mitch McConnell is understanding that at this point, the House is already Democrat. The Senate is absolutely likely to go blue. And he realistically understands that Trump has a much smaller chance of winning than Biden. So once he gets that in, how fast do you think he might dump Trump? Because he serves no purpose. He simply serves no purpose after this. Interesting thought, eh? I'm just going to ask you to hang 1 second. Hold on. Hello, sorry about that. Jerry was outside, but he decided that it was very important that he should come in and he should say hello to everybody. Listen, you guys, I know you've been asking for a pet parade, and I really am trying to get it together to get that done. But for right now, Jerry just thought he would like to say hello, people. For those of you new to my channel, this is a house of animals, but Jerry is sort of special. He's considered the rock star. He is about 6 years old. He is part Maine Coon. He has 3 legs. He's a rescue. And he absolutely knows that he's, do you want to say hi? There we go. He absolutely knows that he's the rock star of the house. And honestly, he doesn't let anybody forget it. Do ya? Okay, there's your, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, there's your awe moment. Okay, you go away, go nap, go rest, don't eat food, go do something. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at Trump this week, shall we? Come on down. I have a question. Okay, let's just give this thing a couple quick shuffles. And of course, this week is also the debate. So that's going to be fascinating because, of course, Joe Biden has been very, very busy prepping. And Trump, well, you know, Trump's just going to wing it and go with his gut because that's how you run a government. That's how you do debates. That's just how everything is done in his world. All right, here we go. Trump this week, Trump this week, Trump this week. Okay. So Trump, he's embattled, right? I mean, there's just a lot going on. He's embattled. He is fighting to get his balance. He can't stay on message. And the harder it gets, the more difficult it gets for him. The more he is going to try to throw his weight around. You know, so he just did that whole, what was it, $200 Medicaid card or something for prescriptions. Okay, but it was an executive order. Okay, well, yeah, except he doesn't know how the government's going to pay for that. And one wonders what world he lives in when he thinks that $200 is going to somehow cover anybody with prescription needs for an extended period of time. But what he likes to do is sit there with that stupid Sharpie of his and sign stuff because he thinks it makes him look presidential and important. And so you're going to see this week a little bit more of those kind of crazy power plays. And honestly, at a time when day after day feels like a power play, that's a lot. But he's having a trouble, you know, and this is the thing, okay, in the next couple of weeks, I don't want you guys to panic, but there are going to be polls or days or events that actually help Trump. That actually just for that moment shine a good light on him. But of course, because it's Trump, we all know. Now, it used to be within 24 hours he would shoot his own damn self in his own damn foot, but lately it's like 12 hours or 6 hours because the more he panics and the more he gets continual bad news, the more he just reacts. And so even if there are some things that go on this week that allow for some maybe bright lights or some positive energy coming into Trump, he is not going to be able to sustain it. Okay, he's simply not. He does not have the skills anymore, the abilities to actually hold the message and move it forward, right? So this week you're going to see more and more of that kind of rambling, is sort of Trump, right? I mean, frankly, the guy that we've all known for 4 years, you're going to see him like sort of on steroids. But there might be one or two little victories. Now, I don't think, it doesn't feel energetically like the debate is going to be one of those, but you know, we shall see. Also, just so that you know, I am going to be doing some pendulum question and answers towards the end at the end of this reading. So if you want to run out and get your pendulums, hang in for that, I would appreciate it. Okay, so he's also unfortunately going to be experiencing some significant loss. He's going to be feeling, it's as if he's going to feel as if there just simply is not enough protection around him to repel the bad news that is coming in. because it's coming in at such an incredibly rapid rate. He is just so wrapped up in looking at what he has to hang on to, what he is going to lose, what he thought would happen versus what is happening. So it feels like this week is going to be very emotional for him. But normally when I step into his emotions, it feels like volatile. This doesn't feel volatile. This feels sad. This feels trapped. This feels like an awareness that maybe the game he has played, frankly, one, is not sustainable, and two, really, really is not going to help him stay in the White House. So there's a lot of funny kind of energy going on around him. There actually is a little bit of a sadness. And, this is the thing about Trump, right? I mean, you're not sure the depth of his emotions. In fact, we're all pretty sure they're fairly shallow. But when it comes to something that in any way reflects poorly on him or his image, he sulks, which of course just makes him look all the more pathetic, because now when things go wrong, instead of trying to figure out a way to make him go right, he just pouts and he sulks. So you can expect a fair bit of that going on this week also. There's just kind of that energy of he can't look at, he's got the 5 of Cups, he's got the 8 of Swords, and he's got the 9 of Wands. He is in a place where there is no forward movement. He really does see things sort of coming to an end. Yes, Jerry, what is it you need, little boy? Sorry, if he is making your dogs bark or your cats howl, I apologize. He's starting to actually realize that things are really, really not going well for him. And he's also realizing that the continual bad press is really, really going to create, honestly, that sense that he's kind of being abandoned. So Mary Trump, the niece, is now suing Donald Trump and family for, I can't remember what it was, something about basically stealing their inheritance. He's got court rulings coming down from the courts that are not at all helpful. He has that whole Obama thing coming up before the courts in, I'm not sure when, it's a couple weeks from now, I think. And I got to tell you, that doesn't look like that's going to go well either. And so he's just going to start hitting kind of one roadblock after another, one slap in the face after another, one insult after another. It's going to be a very difficult week for him. And when that happens, of course, then he gets that much more Trump. Okay, so it feels like post-debate, you're going to see him almost like retreat a little bit. And I don't quite know what that means. I don't know if that means for some reason he's not going to take it very well and he's going to go sort of into a hiding mode. I don't know if perhaps he might not be physically or mentally feeling well and strong, but it kind of looks like there's a little bit of a pullback. You have both the Page and the Knight of Pentacles coming up, and that feels very much like more information about money and finances being made public, and that again is not going to sit well with him. It's not going to put him in a place where he's able to move forward kind of out of the muck that he has created. There's some serious assessing going on behind the scenes at the campaign office, at the, wherever it is. But there's a lot of evaluating going on. And like I said, I kind of can't shake the feeling that if they manage to get this person through, Mitch McConnell may very well wash his hands of Trump. I don't know. It's just a funny feeling I have. But there's definitely assessing going on, right? I mean, they've got Trump out doing these rallies that are like super spreaders. Okay, so let's just start there. Because that feeds his ego, right? That's what energizes him. Don't forget, he is an energy vampire. So he absolutely feeds on and thrives with the roar of crowds, with people telling him he's wonderful and amazing. It's his cocaine. I'm sorry. It's what, he needs to function. And so there's going to be more of that, but I don't know, for some reason, it just feels like somehow the energy or the approach, something is going to be a little different this week or a little bit off this week. So it could just be that, he opens that mouth of his and just statement after statement after statement gets him in trouble. It's possible. Because, at some point you really can't defend the indefensible. If I'm not mistaken, I think that the hearings for this Judge Bennett, I think that starts like mid-October. I think the 12th or something they're talking about. But there's definitely going to be okay, this is what it feels like. It feels like there has been so much damage done to sort of the institutions. Now, for those of us who have sort of been living, breathing Trump for many years now, it might be kind of surprising that there are some people who have actually been very busy living their life. And so they really haven't been paying a lot of attention to politics. But as this thing ramps up and moves towards November 3rd, they're starting to pay attention, and a lot of them, I think, are kind of surprised at the damage that has actually been done to governmental institutions. They weren't, they were busy living their lives, and they don't realize that the Justice Department has become so corrupted. They don't realize that Trump is trying, and McConnell, are trying to do things that are absolutely, categorically not in keeping with not only the rules, but the spirit of the Constitution. They're going to discover that during the debate, there's going to be some things said by Trump that are really, really going to, he's not going to be, it doesn't feel like he can recover from it, because he sort of, this is the thing, okay? Over the last few years, Trump has gotten very used to, I can say whatever I want, I can do whatever I want, nobody stops me. I really could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. Let's not talk about the 200,000+ people he is sort of responsible for their deaths. Not all of them, because, but whole bunches of them, okay? People are going to start paying attention, and he's not going to come out looking very well, because in this debate situation, I think he's going to make a statement or two that are absolutely so outrageous that people are going to go, whoa, wait a minute. Like, how close to the ledge is this man? So that looks like it could be interesting. Yeah. So this is the thing, right? That victory that he is so looking forward to having is not going to turn out well for him. I think that, and I have long said that there would only be one debate. And I could be wrong, right? But what I feel like is that this first debate goes so badly for Trump that he's almost like humiliated. And he's not going to be too anxious to get back on that debate stage again, because what he's going to discover is that the bullying tactics that sort of worked with Clinton are not going to fly with Biden. Because, of course, he used the fact that Clinton was a female, right, to kind of go after her and dominate, and right. He can't do that with Joe Biden. So it feels as if somehow these this debate coming up is really going to be a tough one for him, and very well may actually grasp whatever elements that were still in place that he, to move him forward in a more positive way. Feels like those are going to be lost. More secrets coming out. More things being expressed and shown that really are not going to be helpful to him. So is there still stuff going on in the back behind the scenes? Yeah, absolutely there is. They continue to basically kind of, this is it. It's like they let Trump go do what Trump needs to do or wants to do, because certainly the GOP are very busy plotting on how to get a really conservative Supreme Court. And so they're sort of ignoring him, right? They're just kind of letting, Trump be Trump, except he's got more bad news coming, more bad news about money, more bad news about properties, taxes. I can't remember what day it is. I think it's maybe today, tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, but I'm not sure, where his lawyers have to go back for, I think it's the final time, to the courts and explain and justify why his taxes shouldn't be released. And I don't see that going well for him. And so even if there is not new information coming out, there is definitely more focus and attention put on his money, the way he makes it, what he does with it, where it has gone. And that also is not going to bode well for him. I think there may be more information coming out too on kind of the quid pro quo, right? On I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. So there you have it. There you have it. He's going to be really, in some ways it just feels like it's going to actually be a really difficult week for Trump. Whether that is physically, emotionally, mentally, whether it is rulings that come down, whether it is information that comes out. But there's definitely a sense that this week is going to be sad. I just get sad. And sort of like a realization that could be taking place within him that perhaps allows him to see things more clearly or more realistically. Now, it's not going to hold, okay, because it doesn't. He just runs back into his bubble whenever he sees something that he doesn't like. But it definitely feels like there's going to be some sort of a significant energy shift as this week unfolds. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. I also realize how many times in a reading I say the word interesting. But isn't it? Here we go. Let's pull out my handy dandy pendulum. For those of you who are new to this channel or perhaps just would like a refresher, I use this little pendulum. It is citrine in rose gold for those of you who are interested. I use this little one just because it's really easy for the camera. It's easy to hold and you can see it, etc. This pendulum has been programmed. And so this is the answers. This is the answers I get from it. When the pendulum is ready to talk to me at the beginning, you see it will move into a side to side motion. Pendulum, please show me yes. And you can see that yes is back and forth. And pendulum, please show me no. And circles are no. So let's just ask some sort of random questions. I have to tell you the energy surrounding Judge Barrett. And I'm referring to her that way because I honestly can't remember her other Amy something Barrett. So, the energy around that doesn't feel as if it's solidified yet. So I think if I ask is she going to be appointed to the judge, to the bench, I don't know if I'm going to get an answer, but let's just start with that. And sometimes, for those of you who have watched a long time, you'll know that when the question is sort of iffy, it's a very small motion, and when it's a stronger, more affirmative yes or no, it's a bigger motion. Okay, so let's just see what we get on her. Is Judge Barrett going to be approved to sit on the Supreme Court? As of right now, is she more likely than not to ascend to that bench? Yeah. It's kind of like a little tiny no. It can kind of move into a little bit of a yes. So it's undecided. Things have not fallen into place sufficiently, and for some reason, I personally have not been able to leap forward in time to sort of see the end result of that. So that one, I guess, is still up in the air. But more importantly, whether she does or does not ascend to that bench, do the Democrats have a strategy in place to balance out the Supreme Court and move it from being quite that conservative? Yeah, they do. Okay. And the other thing I want to ask is, Donald Trump is so convinced that if he screws up the election and he messes with it and then he demands recounts, and then he's already talking about getting it up to the Supreme Court to make a decision because that's how he really thinks he's going to be able to win this race, because he's not going to, he says, accept the results unless they benefit him. But the question is this: if it ends up that the results of the election end up having to go through the court system and up to the Supreme Court, Trump is convinced that he is going to have the advantage because it's a really conservative court. Is Trump actually going to have an advantage? No. Is Trump in some way really creating some damage with this current behavior? Yes. Yeah, he is. How about this one? Is Biden going to come out ahead? Is he sort of going to be the apparent winner, if you will, of this Tuesday's presidential debate? Yes. Is Trump going to be more erratic than normal on the debate stage, or can we anticipate sort of a little bit of crazy? Kind of looks like it. Okay. Is Mitch Mcconnell kind of getting tired with Trump? Is he ready to kind of just, get rid of him? Yeah, that's a yes. Okay. Now, Lindsey Graham is sort of neck and neck in the race he is running for the Senate seat. It is Jamie Harrison who is running against him, and they've really, really come close. And Graham's out there complaining, nobody loves me, they hate me. Well, maybe look at your behavior. However, is Lindsey Graham going to win and retain his seat on the Senate? No. All right. Let's check in on Amy McGrath and McConnell. That race there's still a fair bit of a spread in that race. And I have long said that McConnell is not going to retain his seat. But I want to continue to check in on that because that really, really energetically feels like it's in a little bit of flux. Let's start this way. Is Amy McGrath going to have a really strong showing in terms of the results of the election? She is. Okay, good. Is Mitch McConnell going to do considerably worse than he expects? Yes. Now understand, that doesn't mean he's going to win. It just means if he does win, it's not going to be with, fireworks and happy thoughts. No sunshines and rainbows. Is Mitch McConnell going to be able to retain his Senate seat? I keep getting no. And even though the numbers don't reflect that, my pendulum apparently is quite insistent. Okay. Is Biden going to become, no. Is Biden, as a result of the election, going to be President of the United States come Inauguration Day 2021? And that's still showing a really, really, really strong yes. Is Trump going to leave the presidency before the election? No. Is Trump going to still be running things, still be in power as the election approaches? That's a yes. Is Mike Pence going to act as president for a short period of time? And that's yes. Which is how come, if you notice, when I asked the question about Biden, I didn't say the next president, right? I said as a result of the election, right? Is Pence going to need to step in because of Trump either becoming ill or simply choosing to abandon the office of president? Because that's exactly what it would be. Like, talk about a sore loser. And that's a yes. So interesting. Is Harris going to win or be perceived as the winner of the vice presidential debate with Pence? Is she going to have a really strong showing? Yes, she is. Is Obamacare going to be broken by the courts? Are the courts going to rule in favor of disassembling Obamacare? Yeah. No, they're not. And that goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier about the judges in the courts. Trump is under the illusion that just because they are with sort of his party, that they're just going to vote the way he wants them to vote. And I don't know why this guy doesn't understand that judges don't do that. And even if this is a really, really conservative bench, although I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. They're not just going to vote for him because they have conservative leanings and so does he. Okay? Let's give the judges of the Supreme Court at least a little bit more integrity than that. I know that the conversation about that, just like the conversation about whether he will accept the results, it's great television. It is. But I don't necessarily know that it's helpful television. Is Mitch McConnell going to be in significant legal jeopardy as a result of the election? Yes. Are October, November, and December going to be particularly difficult months in terms of the spread of COVID? But you know what? Look at this. This is not a really, really powerful yes. It's a much softer yes. So it could be that it's only 2 of the 3 months or something like that. We'll continue to explore that one. Is Trump actually going to physically need to be escorted out of the White House on Inauguration Day? Is that going to happen? Is he actually going to be in the White House and just need to be escorted out? Yeah, no, he's not. He's not. And is that because Trump won't be in the White House? Yeah. So is Trump actually going to leave the White House before Inauguration Day? Yes. Given everything that's going on, is a relatively peaceful transition of power likely to take place? Yeah. And I don't know why, right? Is it possible that once he loses the election, that all of those senators and Republicans who are backing him are like, well, you know what? Your time is done. You haven't helped us at all. In fact, you've made it worse. And, you know, they could just come at him and say, listen, get out while the getting's good. Like, really? I don't know. Is there a lot of documentation, paperwork, that kind of stuff that has been hidden? Yes. And will it be found? And that's an even bigger yes. So post the election, post the inauguration, is there going to be more and more information coming out so that there's some clarity about exactly all of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes and the deals that were done? Is there going to be more information on that? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Is Eric Trump going to testify in court? Well, okay, he's going to go there because he's sort of been forced to, yeah. Is he going to actually say a whole lot more than I take the fifth? No, he's just going to keep saying, I take the fifth, I take the fifth. Overall, is the health of Trump strong? No. Is he going to experience any significant health concerns between now and the end of the year? Is there something coming for him that's kind of, yeah, I don't know what it is. Hey, let's just ask. Honestly, I'm not trying to induce karma. Is Trump likely to get COVID? There you have it. There's your yes. We don't wish ill on anyone ever. But with all of this energy about Trump not being available and not being around and leaving the White House early, it makes you wonder if there isn't some sort of a significant illness coming his way. Okay, this was really long. This has gone way longer than I expected. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you like the answers the pendulum gave you. I hope your pendulums, if you did this along with me, are reflecting kind of the same answers. And until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.